Welcome back, Subtech Online. It's me again, Sabit Christopher, to take you through a quick overview of creating a dashboard in Google Data Studio. So Google Data Studio is a free tool that we use to connect data and pull data from different data sources. That is like the Facebook ads, Google ads. We have Google Sheets, we have MySQL, as how we saw before in the last video. The link is in the description below. We use this tool to create easy visuals or quick visuals into a report to share with clients, stakeholders, and teammates. So please stay around with me until the end of this video. I'm going to take you through how we can create such a beautiful and a quick, easy dashboard or report. Now, to start with is we are starting with creating a new we shall just use the create button on the upper left corner. So we are creating a report, so we shall create a blank report, which should be creating now. So this is the untitled report. Then when you're creating a report without any data source, it will bring for you a selector for the connect to data. So you'll have to choose a connector you're going to use. So for this case, we are going to use we are going to upload a file. For this case, I will be showing you in another videos how we connect to other data sources, but for this case we are going to use a file. The file I'm going to use is a CSV file. This is it, the supermarket sales, which is already on our desktop. So we are going to upload it from our desktop. So this is what we do. So the second option here, we go for connecting it to the data source. So the data source, we are going to use the file upload. So I will upload my file. So you can either drag the file and drop, or you can click and upload. So I already have my file here in Google Data Studio. So I will open this, then drag and drop my file. So we shall give it a few seconds. It should be loading. It is processing. After processing, we should be able to add it to our report. So just a few minutes. So now it has already uploaded. I will do done and add. So after adding the data source, now we already have data. So this is by default. You just add it to your report just to confirm that that is the data source we have. So immediately you add your data source, it is going to pick by default with one of the visual, which is always a table, and you'll see that it has picked by default. It has picked the invoice and the record numbers, the record counts, but this is not what we wanted. So I will delete this. For the first visuals, we are going for scorecards. So we are going to create scorecards, but before that, you can put this here. So before the scorecards, I'm going to create the header. So how do we create the header? You drag a shape. So we add a shape, a rectangle. So this is our shape. You can do more of the formatting on the shape. You can give it a round. We shall be using round corners of 10. We are giving it a background of green. This is it. I will use this green. Then the other bits we can do them later. So that is it. So we are adding a text, that is our header. Now our text is supermarket. So this is supermarket sales dashboard. So I will be quick on this. Then we can reformat this. Drag this. So we can reformat this to the center. We increase the font up to around 30. Can go with 30 and increase even up to 36. Then we have this bolded. We have it in white color. So far so good. We can have this at 40. Yeah, that is it. So we can change the color. I need, we are going to use this green, so can come here and change this font color. Now we can change that later. So already we have our header. Now the next thing is we are going to insert the scorecards. So the first scorecard is, you move to add chart, then you pick the scorecard, which is this. By default it will pick a total. So by default it is picking that counts. So our scorecard is supposed to be picking the gross income. So here it's where we change the dimension and the metrics. So it is a drag and drop, or you can click on this and search. So we need the gross income, which is this. So the moment I click on gross income, it should be picking immediately. So now the next thing is to do the formatting of the scorecard. So the best thing, if you're having more than one scorecard, first create one, format it, then you copy and paste to have the others. So I'm going to create this one. I format it to the best fashion or format I need it. So we come to style. If you are to format this, you come to style. Then the first thing is looking at the labels. This is the label, my gross income. So my label is the value. So there are many options we are going to go through quickly. So I can center the metric name. You see the metric name is the gross income on top. You can center it. You can even center the value. If you have a comparison, as I'm going to show you the comparison, like comparing with the previous period, we shall look at that. We can leave it on the left. Then for the background, we are going to go with a white background. We're going to have a white background. So you can change the background from here white. Then you can give the border green. You can have round the corners from here 10. You can do all the sorts of bits to make sure that you have the best visual you feel like fits your report. So showing you others, that is on background and borders. You can do the paddling on the left, on the right. You can do, if it is hovered on, what color should it show. I may say that if you hover, it should show maybe red. And if I put this in view mode and we hover over it, it should be showing the red. So now if we feel this is exactly what maybe we need, you can go ahead and copy this, paste to have the others. Then at some bit you may have a value which is longer in millions. The best fit to do that is compacting the data. So we have the option here where we have compact numbers. So the moment you click on compact numbers, it changes this to kilo or millions, or it can be billions. So going back to data, if you want to change the metric name, you can click here, then you change the metric name. I want to have this in capital letter, gross income. So here like this. So you can change the name from there. Then the other bits maybe I will be showing you as we move forward. Then if you need to have a comparison, then you do the comparison from here. But for this case, we may not go for the comparison since we are dealing with data for 3 months. I can show you again. This data is for 2019, Jan, Feb, and March. So now we are going to have the other scorecards. Then another thing, if you feel like you want to format your report with a theme, like at the start you set your theme such that everything you create has a standard theme, then you can always go on theme and select a theme. This time I used this theme. I think that's what we should select. Then you can go ahead and customize the theme. Now you give all the custom from this end, such that any visual I create, any dash on any chart I drop, it should be having a standard theme. Let's go through it, and this is the best you can go for. So this is customizing the theme and layout you're going to use. I've already shown you how you can do all the other customs for the particular visual, but now this one is doing for the whole report, such that any drop you put, it picks the theme directly. So the report background, it is giving us that, we can go with that. Then the text style, we can go with that still. The component background, here, that's where we give it now a white, you get. Then you give this one a round of 10. You can go ahead, the border, you give it green. Let's go with green. Then border shadow, you can put there default, yes, I need a shadow. Then move downwards, the asset styles, you can just leave them by default. The compact background, you can just leave it that way. Component background, actually we can change this to white. Then the text box styles, if you create a text box, what you should expect, we can leave this to default by now. For links, this is it. Then you have many, you can go ahead and reformat, or you can leave them by default. So what I've formatted is that, so we can go ahead and use our theme, which means if I drop let's say a scorecard again, it should be picking automatically it should be picking automatically the formatting we have given to the theme. So reformatting this, what I'm going to do now, let me pick the format from this side, then we go with that, copy, and when you come here, you paste format on D. So let's go with this. Okay, now the next thing is we are going to have the scorecard for sales, cost of goods sold, transactions, and the quantity sold. So how do we do this? It is just a matter of copy paste. So we are going to copy paste 5 more, 3, and so we move these ones. Okay, just I'll be somehow quick. Now I can select this. So selecting all of them, I want to align them. Right click. Now you come on distribute. You want to first distribute, first aligning them. We need to align them on top such that they are all on the same level. Then again, you distribute them horizontally. We want to distribute them equally such that we have the same spaces. That is horizontally, and that is good. Now the next thing we are going for, the sales, cost of goods, transactions, and so we are changing this to sales. So we shall just click here, select the sales, which is the total somewhere. So this is the total we are having here. So that is the total. So we can change the name to sales. So I can change that name to sales. Then we move to the cost of goods. So we can change this. This is to cost of goods. So you can leave it that way, or if you feel you can change the name. I can have this in capital, cost of goods sold, cost of goods sold. Then changing this, actually we have to change this to cost of goods, so it is. Then now here we have the transactions. So transactions, which means we are just counting the invoices we have. Those are the transactions. So you can even drag and drop the invoice, so you can look for where the invoice ID. Invoice ID. So this is this. You can drag and drop here, and it will just do automatically count. So it is automatically counting the distinct. So you can come here, and if we have repeated invoices, they can also be counted like that. So we go with that. Then you can reduce even the number of the number of decimals. This is from this side. Click on it, come on styles, you put this in auto or you put it at 0, it will reduce that, or you may want this note to be a compact, and there you go. Now the next thing, actually change this now not to invoice ID, we are changing this name to transactions. So changing this to transactions. Okay, there we go. Now the last, we are going to have the quantity sold, which is this. So we shall drag the quantity here and drop there. So the moment you drop, it should be picking the quantity sold. You can now change this to QTY sold, and there you go. So we already have now our scorecards. These are the scorecards, which means the next thing we are going to go to is the time series charts. So the time series charts is such a chart, which is the gross income by gender. So what we do is we click on add chart, you go on time series chart, you can pick any. So we can pick this one, which is already smooth. So drag this. Now you realize that every time we drop our charts, they come with a default formatting, because remember we already formatted our theme and layout. Now we are going to change this chart because we need a chart to give us the gross income by gender running the number of months. So which means here the dimension, I will need months, which means I will pick a date, drag it here. Now after picking a date and dragging it to the dimension, I'm going to change this date. So click on the edit button, then on the date type, I'm going to select date and time. This time I need to pick only year. I need year and month. So actually we don't need a year, we need month. We just need month. So we can go with this month. So the month gives us that. Let's see if we can pick the date and month. Day of the week. Yeah, we can go with day of the week. Sorry, this was day of month, not day of the week. Day of the week gives us Monday to Sunday. This is day of the month. So we can pick that, go with that, day of the month. I know it is going to summarize this, or if you want to also look at this now gives you from 1st to 31st. So you can always go ahead and preview and for you to get the better version of what you want to go for. So we need it to show us the day, month, day, month and day. Let's see if this one can be the better. Yeah, we can go with this. We can go with that. Always you can see how it is being sorted. So we are sorting by total, but we need it to sort by date of the month. So it has to sort now from, you see now it is 30th March to Jan. So we can sort this one in ascending. So we do ascending, you see Jan 1st, Jan 5th, it is a default of 5. Now you see here it is giving us the total, and remember we are saying we need a gross income by gender. So we shall pick gross income, we put it on the metric, we eliminate the total, we don't need the cells. So every time you do changes, the sort goes off. We shall sort that one later. Now or you can do the sorting from here by picking the date and put it here. So you can change this by putting the day of the month, and it should be ascending. so such that it is always a constant like that. So I've already picked gross of income. Now we want to break this one down such that we have one line showing male and another line showing female. So how do you do that? We have now the breakdown of dimensions here. Just pick gender, drop it in breakdown. It is going to break down. So if you have more than 5 breakdowns, it will break this down into 5 lines. So you note that one out. So if you have a category you feel like you need to break down, make sure that it is not so much, because you're going to have a cluster of too many lines. So when I look at this, at least now it fits what we need. So we can go with this. So we have female and male. So the moment I hover through, it will show you the totals. 26 is this, female was this, these were the. So these are gross, that's the gross income that is generated from different gender. So you can tell which customers you have most on a certain day or in a certain range. Now we leave this one at this. Now you can add more timelines, time series charts, but for time series charts for this time we can leave it at that. At least we have done most of the things you need to do. Then if you want to put headers, you can always pick them from the text boxes, text box, and drop. Now what we are going to, we are going to create a bar chart. So let's see how we create a bar chart, that is sales by weekday. So still I will add chart. You pick a bar chart, so you can pick any here. So I've already told you the moment we drop it, it picks directly from the theme, so we no longer need to adjust this. Sorry, I have to open this because I need this one to be enlarged. Okay, now here it has picked by default. As I've already told you that when you drop a chart, it picks by default. So it is your initiative now to see that you put it to the visuals you need or the data sets you need. Now, this one we need to pick sales by week. So, which means here we are picking total. That's our dimension, that is a date, because we need by week. So we shall pick a date, drop it on the dimensions. So after it has picked, go and edit this. I've already shown you how to edit this. You go to date and change date and time. This time we need day of the week because we need Monday to Sunday. So you can put it there. Then remember, it is by default, it is sorting by income. So we can pick the same here and select day by week to sort by that, and you should sort ascending, because you see descending starts from a Saturday. We need ascending that will start from a Sunday. So there you go. Now it is picking gross income, and we needed sales per week. So the sales are here. This is the total. So I'll drop this here. Then you can edit this to sales like that. There you go. Now that is the sales per week. If you want, you can go ahead this side in the style and add data labels. So here you can add data labels. They will show that way, but it is upon you if you need or you don't need them. You can even compact them, give them decimal and all the other bit. You give them color, you can change this color to anything, but remember our theme is already giving us that. We can go with that. Then another thing we have with charts, you can go ahead and create, there is I can show you this, creating a reference line. So the moment I add a reference line, it will always ask us to put a constant, but this time I don't need a constant. I need to pick from a metric. So a metric, it will pick from sales, and I want to pick the average. So it is taking the average like that. So you can go ahead even and pick median, you can pick minimum, you can pick maximum. So if I go with average, we can take that as average, and you look at where you do above average or below average. So you can do even the same on this chart by adding a reference line. So adding a reference line. Where is it? Should be here. Scroll here. So we're adding a reference line. Still we can do the same. Remember this was income, so you shall pick metric. It has to pick automatically and it has picked automatically for average. So which means if I take my first view of my report, it shows you where you have the average, and it even when you hover over it, it shows you that the average is 86.4. Female, that day we got an income of 64, and male we got an income of 78. So that is it. So that's how you create bar charts and line charts. Now the next thing we are going to is how to drop a pie chart. So we do the same. I take this back to edit. Remember from the last video showing you that you can switch modes from here. Now we are picking this time a pie chart. I'll go with a donut. So creating a donut. Now the donut I'm going to create, this one we are going to create the gender. But remember here we are going to have gross income by gender. We shall also, I'm going to show you how we can break this one down into two. So here it picks automatically by default date and the other bits. Actually it picks the last visuals or dimensions or metrics you used. So we are changing the dimension now to gender. So we change this to gender, and we are changing the cells. We need gross income, so we can pick the metrics as gross income. Now this is it. So you can go ahead here in style and see how you can format your legend, or putting them below or upper. So we can put them on top, you can put them below, you can put them on the sides. So that is it. So you already have female and male, and you see the portions that are taken. You can go ahead and adjust all the other bits, but for now we keep it to that. Now there is what we have called drilling down. So drilling down is if I have gender and I want to drill down to maybe the payment method. Okay, we have seen gender. If I click on gender and I want to drill down to payment method, so when you click here on drill down, it will give you options of adding other dimensions. So when I add their dimension payment, it means that now I have gender. When I say drill down, it drills down to payment. So it gives me now payments. It means like I can show more than 2 dimensions in one chart. So you can drill up and it drills up again too. So here it means that if I created this as a filter, let's say a cross filter, and I view this. So when I click on male, female, it is going to select throughout female. So which means since I've selected out throughout female, all my report has adjusted to female. That's what a cross filter does. That is now on dynamic reporting. So when you create a filter and you do drill down, which means what you're drilling down is the payment. Now this payment is only for female. So when we drill up again and click again to have it all and drill down again, you'll see there are changes. So you can go ahead after creating this one as a cross filter. Even if I click on cash, it has to change every visual of mine, and it will give me the cash gross income, the cash sales, the cost of goods, invoices that were done on cash. I can do here credit card, and it gives me everything that was done on credit card. So here you see how the line is breaking, meaning that it was not continuous day by day. So there were breakages, let's say on credit card. At some day you'll find that like on this day, like I can choose this, like at some day you'll find that female didn't use credit card, something like that. So that is it for cross filtering. That is adding cross filters into your visuals, you can go ahead and add cross filters into other visuals, like this chart, like the bar chart. Click on it, just go at the bottom, you click on the cross filter, so it will do the cross filter such that when your client is you have shared this, it is in a view mode, and I click on Tuesday, it will have to change everything to what was done on Tuesday. So every Tuesday, which means throughout the 3 months, this is what was being done. So you can easily tell when you had a high number of female buying, when you had a high number of male buying. So, but I don't advise to have many cross filters since it runs out the interactivity. Now let's move to how to add a table. So you can need to add maybe some of the, we'll take this back to edit. So here we are adding a table now. So adding a table, still you come to add charts, then we shall go with the first option of a table. I'll drag this here, and now in our table it is up to you which dimensions you need. Here you see they have the invoice ID, the totals, gross income, cost of goods and sales. So you start doing this, you pick the invoice ID, drop it there. You have the sales, you can pick the sales, these are the totals you add here. Or you can even click here and search for them if you have a lot of dimensions. So that is total, then this is cost of goods sold, then here we can have the gross income. So this is it. So that is it. You can go ahead and do the reformatting from the styling. I've already shown you how to do that, but now there is the other bit. If you want to reformat this width of the columns, just right click on this, go on resize columns, then you say fit data. I always like to use fit data, such that data is fit depending on how long it is. So that is it, guys. That's how we add tables. So which means if I cross filtered here for credit card, which means even my table has to change, you see. So it gives a better vision now to the client or anyone you have shared with the report. Now the other thing we are going to is adding the filters. So we are going to add a date filter. Now another thing, if you want to move this, you can always select and use your up and down arrow to move these ones down or up. So we can add filters here. Now the filter I'm going to add a filter for payments and date. So we add controls. So we are picking this from drop down. I will drag here, it has to pick. So when it picks this automatically, I can change this from here, that's the control field. I'm changing this to payments, so I need this to be payments, so I can click on payments. Then another thing, you can have the payments. As you're selecting the payments, you also look at the total sales. That's what it means here. So if I put this back in view mode and I filter this, which means it will drop down, it will show me that cash was this is e-wallet is this. So if I want cash only, I can click on cash only and it will filter everything to cash only. So you can add as more filters as you can, depending on how your data, on how you want your data to be visualized. Then you put this back in edit mode. Now we can also add another control, that is the date control. So that is the date range control. So I can just drag here and drop. Okay, so this is it. Now when you check the date the date range control, most of the cases it may pick automatically because it detects the data that it is from 2019, that is Jan to March. So either you can go ahead and pick our last name last year or last month, last quarter, depending on how, if your data is dynamic and current. But for now, let's leave it to that. But you can go ahead, let's say if I want to pick, we can go to 2019 because this data is for 2019. So 2019 January, let's pick the first date, and here we do the same thing. 2019, our data runs up to March, so I can do March 31st. Then you do apply. You see, nothing is going to change because I've selected the whole timeline. So and here remember that I'm selecting cash, so let me remove cash by selecting all, such that I can select all. So I want to change now to only January, which means I can click this to only January 2019 up to 31st. Even I can select like 15 days of January. So it will have to give me the 15 days of January. So we are doing all these selections because that it depends on how you want to interact with your data. So you can even get cells for the specific days you want, depending on how you want to interact with your data. So we take this back to automatic. So that is going to be auto. Where do we get auto? Here we just have none auto date range picking. So for it will pick auto, it picks the whole time range of I think didn't pick. This has to be auto date. Okay, and we apply. So that is it, guys. Now we have created, I've shown you how you do the dynamic reporting with the date filter. I've shown you how you do it with the filter controls. I've shown you how you can add filters within the visuals or the charts. I've shown you how you can go with the bar charts, the pie chart, the time series charts, then scorecards, and how you can add text. You can go ahead and practice. I'm going to leave you the description of this report in the link in the description below, such that you can go ahead and create your own template and do practice. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is how we do the sharing. Now before we do the sharing, I want to rename my report. So you can rename the report from here. This is, I'll call it supermarket supermarket sales. I can call this session. Then how do we share our data? Now sharing is the most important thing, because every report you create, every video you create, it has to be shared with the stakeholders or the client or any recipient. Now this is how we share the report. Now you can invite people by inputting their email addresses, like I can put here Sabiti. So you can input their email addresses and share, can view, or you can share with them to come and edit with you if they can edit. So always, that's why it is selected by default view. That is one. So the moment you send, it is like all the other Google Suite apps where you send and everyone will receive a notification in their email. Then you can go ahead and also do a schedule email delivery. So you can schedule an email delivery such that you put the number of people who you want to receive that email. Let's say it can be every day on Mondays. Starting from today, you can say daily at every 8 a.m. everyone will be always receiving an attachment of this mail. So you can schedule that and it will be on a daily basis, not until it is cancelled. Then you can get a report, a link, where you say you copy a link, or you can change the sharing settings here by adding, as I've already shown you, adding the people in share. So when you copy this link and share to everyone, so everyone on internet, anyone with a link will be able to have this report viewed on their end. So when you copy this even and share on WhatsApp, people will have to access it directly onto their phones. Then there is the other option. The last one is downloading. So you can download this report in PDF, and you can select all the other bits. Like, you can, if you want to ignore the backgrounds and every bit, you can do so. If you want to add a link back on the report, you download a PDF with the link. So like I can show you, you can even encrypt it with a password. So if I say download, it is going to download for me this report in PDF. It is downloading. So showing you the other functionalities as we wind up. You can refresh your data here. This is in the moment. If this data was dynamic and some changes were done, you can always come here and refresh data. Then if you want to create a new report, you have been shared the view, but you want to use this template for another something else, you can always create a copy and play with it in all the other bit you want, because you may be shared with a view, right, and you can't edit anything. So, or if you want to copy paste this for another period, or the month has ended, you want to begin another month, or the year has ended, you want to do another copy for another year, you can go ahead and do that. So guys, this is it. I'll put all the links in the descriptions that are required for you to do practice at your own bits. And if this is your first time to reach this channel, please go ahead and hit that red button to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you find this helpful to your daily routine, data analytics, transaction, and you can go ahead and even share with friends. You never know, you may change their lives. Bye bye.